Welcome back to another episode of A Positive Insights. Today I'm joined by the boys from Atmos Medical, Reece and Matt.
Daz.
How are you?
We're great. Great to be here.
Great to be here, Daz.
Mate, awesome to have you on. Obviously we talked about it for a while, so I'm really glad you're here. So do you want to just start, give us a little bit of a background on who you are?
I'm Reece. I'm come from a dairy farming background, so something completely different to healthcare, but been in medical recruitment close to 10 years now. And funny old path that I found myself to Atmos Medical, and I think Matt was quite similar.
Yeah. So I actually did a primary degree.
Right.
Did 4 years in Geelong, down there in Victoria.
Yeah, okay.
So I taught for about 2 years. Went over to London to teach. Love my Premier League soccer, so let's go to London, teach, do that, and the travelling.
Brilliant.
And then realised I hated teaching. So I ended up getting a job for the agency that got me the work as a teacher.
Right.
So I ended up being a recruitment consultant for that company.
Yeah.
Did that for 18 months in London and then come back to Sydney. And that's where the medical recruitment journey began.
Yeah, right. Also a country boy?
Country boy from Horsham, so 3 hours west of Victoria. Not a farmer like Reece.
Right.
But yeah, country. But
West,
probably the world's worst
is
handyman.
Is that Gippsland?
West,
Or not
no,
Gippsland?
more the Wimmera, so past Ballarat.
Right, okay, that way.
That
I'm
way, yeah.
terrible
Kind of in the middle of
geography.
nowhere, yeah. So yeah, Horsham boy.
Brilliant. Yeah, okay, awesome. So massive transition. So what was like the transition there, and why did you set up Atmos?
Yeah, it was pretty daunting, to be honest. Like initially,
Yeah.
coming from studying agriculture,
Yeah.
farmer boy, to then, having medical educated conversations with doctors. So initially, when I first got into medical recruitment, it was pretty daunting. But you soon realise that you've got half a personality and you're trustworthy. You do the right thing by doctors and clients. Take you a long way. I think I particularly enjoy it because I'm dealing with country people. I'm not, in a suit trying to schmooze a CFO. Down at Martin Place. I'm speaking to Sharon. Working from a hospital, med-admin.
Yeah, there's a lot of Shazzes.
Rural hospital. Just chewing the fat, having natural conversations. So I guess in that sense, I really took a liking to it, and I think our clients enjoy that as well. That we sort of have that more relaxed demeanour, don't take ourselves too seriously, have our true personalities come through.
Yeah.
It was initially a daunting transition, a bit of imposter syndrome, and then I guess that happened again once we started up our own agency. It's like, wow, these doctors and clients are instilling their trust in us, but as time's gone on, our confidence is growing, and here we are sitting in front of you on a podcast.
How did that happen?
I've made it.
You have made it.
I remember when I first got into medical recruitment, I can remember the first couple of weeks on the job and had to make my first call to a doctor. And I was just so nervous. I was thinking, oh my God, I've got to talk to a doctor. Like, what do I say? What do I do? Made the first one, and I guess the rest is history. But it's just, the thing about medical recruitment is that at the end of the day, you're making genuine impact, I suppose, on people's lives through providing doctors to healthcare services that mightn't have one. So that was really appealing to me. And just Reece and I can really just be ourselves and let our personality shine through, which is, I think, what our doctors like from us, and like Reece touched on, the medical administrators as well. But the why we started, I didn't want to look back in 10 years and still be doing the same thing I was doing. I wanted to have a little bit more fulfillment, and I wanted to look back on what Reece and I had achieved with a sense of pride. Certainly all things are going really well so far and well on the way to doing that. But that was my bigger driving force, is that fulfillment piece.
Yeah.
Yes, a sense of purpose. I guess I don't want to just be a cog in someone else's wheel, and it's just really nice. You're solving problems every day. Getting positive feedback from clients and candidates, actually making a difference in the rural healthcare community. Doesn't get any better.
No, of course not. So take me back to, obviously you were recruiting, you were working for someone else. You don't have to mention that name, but feel free to actually do. But like, what was the reason? Like, what was the tipping point as well? Like, why you went from being a recruiter to setting up your own agency?
Well, it started with a couple of, we used to go for the odd coffee down at Clovelly, and then we'd just be spitballing and sort of.
Was that where we caught up that time?
It would have been at the same time.
Yeah, there was a bit.
Right.
We definitely weren't employed by that company then.
No, you weren't. Just to clarify, no, I'm just thinking about location, not timing.
Let's be clear about that. But no, we became friends. That's actually where Matt and I first met, was at that agency.
Yeah.
And I guess it was mutual respect we had for each other, and I guess knowing, each other's skill sets, and maybe that, we could look at something bigger. And it started with a coffee at Clovelly, and then a couple of beers at a local pub, and
then it just snowballed into, all right, how the hell do we actually do this? There's like a million things to do. I don't know where to start, but we just broke it down. And we also thought, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work out. I get a job somewhere else. So we just had that mindset, and we were super confident in our ability to get it done, and we're really proud of
where
we've come and what we've done so far.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And A positives played a part in that, because a lot of those a lot of those problems we had to solve. There's sort of your compliance piece, there's your legal side of things, but finance is such a big part of it, particularly that we're doing locum doctors, contract doctors.
Some doctors, getting paid $3,500 a day.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money for us to have to find. So
attention to detail's key. We pay doctors weekly. We provide funding as an agency, to be able to do that, because we didn't have an angel investor. We didn't have Darren funding us, so we
kind of do.
We kind of indirectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think Reece is the most surprising thing. Reece has done payroll every Friday since we started, and hasn't made one mistake. So it's pretty foolproof.
Yeah, that's right. That's telling you something. So
someone else is doing the payroll.
Someone else.
Yeah. I want to be honest. If it was you doing the payroll, I would probably wouldn't expect there to be no errors.
No, it's actually been a really smooth process, and we've got someone that works for you, and Ash. He's almost like an extended arm of us at Atmos. He's almost, I'd go to saying, an account manager with us. If there's anything needs problem solving on the spot, he always take a call, resolve any issues. And trust me, there's been lots of questions going his way. So
probably need to put your fee up to accommodate those questions, maybe.
Yeah, actually, tone it down.
No, I'm kidding. Ash would be chuffed. He'd be chuffed with that. But that's obviously awesome to hear. So you've set up the business. Like, how did you what was one of the first things you did? Obviously, did you put a business plan together? Obviously, the two of you coming together. Yeah. Like, there's probably a few things you've got to think about. Like, take me back to the start.
I think Reece and I are really conscious of not wanting to create a business with the foundations built on quicksand. We're really big on that because we know we're very, like recruiters are, fast-paced and reaction and just do things with speed. So we're really conscious of that, our personality trait. So we did a business plan, spoke to an accountant, we made sure we were ticking all those boxes that we needed to do, looked up guides on how to set up a recruitment agency, used our network of other people who'd done it before, and offered some advice and people to speak with. So we're really just conscious of doing things the right way and setting the business up correctly from the start. And that's something now that the business we've still got in place. We spent a lot of time, I guess, and energy into creating processes and policies that the business follows, which allows Reece and I guess, to focus on the stuff that we enjoy, which is like revenue generating activities and getting on the phone and making things happen.
Yeah, I think we took the time to get those structures and processes in place. And I think maybe a lot of other agencies or other recruiters may rushed in, or the first thing they'll think about is revenue making placements. But we wanted to make sure that, our pillars were in place, when that time came. Must give, another massive shout out is that we had an operations manager who's currently on mat leave, Maddie, who was very good with implementing our structures and processes.
Yeah,
and that's to this day I think that's one real strength that we have, and just enables Matt and I to use our skill set, our personality to go and do things we enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on that with Maddie having her knowledge and her different way of thinking on getting that foundational stuff for the business was so important, and such a huge piece of success for us. And now we've got Amy helping us with the compliance, and she's doing an amazing job as well. So things are running pretty smoothly in that sense.
Yeah, right. So the team's really scaling now.
Yeah, we've got solid platform in place.
Yeah.
And we're sort of we're not looking to jump, reach out to anyone, to come and work for us, but we're sort of open-minded for the right person, to grow as a team. It's really important to us that cultural fit, but want someone with a character and that works the Atmos way, does things with a smile on their face, and that fits that mould.
Yeah, it would probably be hard to find, obviously, like you were saying, like country boys now doing medical recruitment. That's your point of difference. To bring in someone else in, you're looking for someone from the country.
Yeah,
Like
another
who do you
failed
find?
dairy farmer.
Yeah.
I think like if the right person comes along, you know, we'll speak with them. Would not necessarily have to be from any particular location. Ideally in Sydney, so we can create that bond in the office and that Atmos energy that we thrive on and really gets us going. But like I said, like Reece and I, we just love coming into work every day, and I think it's really important. I've found if you don't love what you do, it's going to be really difficult to make anything you do a success, particularly starting up a new business. So we're in no rush to grow, but I'm sure next year we've got a few things that we want to get done, and a couple of hires, you know, is in our plans.
Yeah, no, great. Like, I can see how passionate you are about the business, which is great to see. But like you mentioned, like a lot of the chats we have is like, what is that first hire? So your first hire was operations, right? Because that's fundamentally the core of the business. So you guys can go and win all the business you want, but if you haven't got that fundamental operational side of the business, you're not going to be able to make the placements and have a smooth transaction, smooth payroll. And
there's only so far Reece and I could have gone doing it ourselves, and if we didn't have Maddie's help setting all that up, the business probably would have got there, but it would have been a long time coming.
Like having a big sister looking over you, you know, sort of, you know, she's keep an eye, making sure I made my bed, make sure dot my I's, crossing my T's, doing things correctly. So she's really held us accountable, you know, throughout the entire process. So really you can't emphasise how important that was, getting that first hire right. Yeah,
no, amazing. So obviously we talked about a few of the hires and how's it going, but like what's like one of the biggest challenges that you've had? If it's just one, or is there two sort of challenges that you've had to overcome?
For me, it's sort of, I guess, the coming from a recruitment role, it's quite one-dimensional. So just focusing on my doctors, getting them placed, not thinking about anything to do with the back end, you know, chasing timesheets, invoicing, all those little intricacies. So how I manage my time, you know, has been a huge thing. So I'm I don't know, 40 to 50% of the time is probably all I'm doing, you know, as far as actually doing my recruitment role, and it's breaking up the other task and making sure I'm not letting Matt down, you know, with other duties and things to, you know, work on the business, not just in the business. Yeah.
And you?
Challenges. Well, I guess the easy thing is making placements. That's the easy thing, right? Because that's what we've done the whole time. So there's no challenges there, really. It's been pretty happy with the revenue and growth in that respect. Like Reece said, the challenge is managing your time. Just sort of really focusing now on the moment at some of the tasks that Reece and I still hold on to, but we need to let go of, so that we can focus on some of the activities that will drive and generate growth. Like Reece said, like timesheets, you know, back and forth there, travel and accommodation, invoicing. So just really drilling down on that more and transferring some of those tasks to some, like a virtual support assistant as well, who's been really great. And probably though the main challenges, aren't they? Of just how do you just give yourself more time to get on the phone, get on the front foot, and make things happen.
Are there any tools that you've like implemented that have helped you manage your time?
Oh, look, I think we both work in our own different ways, but just individually, I know how I operate, and that's boxing my time in the morning. If I'm going to do anything to do with administration, that's going to happen first thing, otherwise it's never going to happen. And just not being a slave to my inbox. So just not being reactive to things that come throughout the day, all those emails I'm getting from A positive. So I'll tackle them the first.
Cut that.
I'll tackle that. I'll tackle those niggly admin emails, you know, first thing in the morning. And then making sure that I free myself up to get on the phones and do what I love in the afternoon. You know, it's almost a reward for me.
Okay. So you got a bit of a structure. So that's good. That's good to hear. We were talking outside about tech. Do you want to run us through what type of tech you're using at the moment and what challenges that's helped you overcome?
So we've invested in a platform called Health Pass, which has really helped our compliance, I guess, speed and onboarding, whereas previously there'd be like 30 to 40 documents for each placement, back and forth, printing, scanning, emailing back. Now everything's done in a couple of clicks, so that saved us a lot of time in that sense around our compliance piece. So that tech's been great. Other tech that's come in that hasn't been Well, it's coming in New South Wales. It's posing some challenges to the medical recruitment market at the moment. Is in New South Wales, a platform come out called Evo,
Right.
where previously, you know, a good recruiter would use their craft and you know, get people on the phone and say, oh, hey, look, I've got this doctor available. You know, do you have anything coming up? And, you know, use their skills to maybe get access to exclusive work. New South Wales Health moving to a model where it's sort of removing all humans and the jobs are posted on a platform.
Online,
like a marketplace.
Online
Right.
portal, much more transactional.
Yeah.
And, you know, as an agency, you have to pivot, you know, and put structures and processes in place to tackle that.
Yeah, right.
And we're finding, there's a reduction on margin as well across the state. It's all standardised now. So it's going to impact everyone.
Yeah.
Is that something you still focus on though? Would you look to, you talk about pivot, like would you pivot into Queensland Health or Tassie or?
I guess the fortunate thing with us being, you know, small at the moment and in that growth phase is we can pivot accordingly.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't envy maybe some of these other agencies, you know, that are a bit top heavy, that aren't able to do the same thing. But I guess as far as our long-term plans, you know, that's taken into consideration that perhaps margins are going to be lower. It is going to be much more transactional.
Yeah.
So
How do we get around it?
how do we,
What do we do?
form our business and our structure around that? But yes, we can go to any state and territory, but I dare say they're all sort of heading in the same direction.
Yeah,
is
right.
that
That's a shame.
what is, yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, obviously, again, your point of difference would be your personalities and the way you come across to people. People buy from people. So if they're taking away that people component of recruitment, that seems a bit.
Well, that's
sad.
right. That's
That's the enjoyment of it too.
that's the
that's
part that we all love.
Yeah.
You know, we all love making things happen. Just talking to another person. You know, getting those wins and that positivity back from a client when you filled a role.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's just click submit and you wait for a response. But that's the way it's going, and it doesn't look like there's any stopping it for now, at least.
Okay, so
That's New South Wales
another
only.
challenge. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And that's margin only anyway, isn't it? New
Yeah.
South Wales.
Yeah.
But I'd say
Yeah.
budgets are quite tight across
Yeah.
the board, countrywide. You know, so that's been heavily scrutinised and looked at as
Yeah.
how much they're going to be spending on agency margin.
Yeah, look, I'd love to move on to some industry trends. Like, tell me a little bit about the industry at the moment and what trends you're seeing.
Yeah, look, predominantly, I guess our vacancies are going to be rural and remote.
Yeah.
But often people are surprised, you know, your metro locations, you know, Sydney, Prince of Wales, rural North Shore, you know, these metro hospitals, they also have a need. The difference is you'll notice, I guess, the rates are generally higher the more rural and remote that you go. There'll be an increased rate, but they'll also get travel and accommodation covered
Yeah.
for their doctors.
So it's probably a silly question. Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference between rural and metro? And why is there a higher margin?
Yeah, I guess it's more difficult to attract permanent doctors
Yeah, okay.
to go rurally.
Right.
You know,
We got
if you're-
education, schools,
if
and
you're,
your
if you're,
kids and
yeah, if you're,
stuff.
if you're a
Yeah.
teenager growing up in Brighton, Melbourne,
Yeah.
you know, then you go to Deakin University,
Yeah.
and then they want to send you out to Wangaratta. You know, it's not often going to appeal to those doctors. They want to go somewhere, you know, more metro. But yeah, there has to be some sort of incentive to
Yeah.
go rural and remote. Generally, the rates are high because of that, and they'll throw in, you know, car hire, accommodation allowance, you know, for that as well. And then you find that the metro locations that need locum doctors, they're generally doctors that are living there already in Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, wherever it is, and they might just be picking up a bit of part-time work, maybe some weekend work. But there's always going to be a need. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that slow down. There was more in Matt's market and the junior doctors. You saw a bit of a decrease.
Yeah, some of the trends, I guess, from earlier this year, which had the sort of market was all a little bit concerned from February to sort of maybe May or June. There was a significant downturn in the amount of positions available, particularly junior doctors, non-specialist doctors. It was really hard to make a placement. Sometimes there was 70 to 80 applicants for one role.
Oh, wow.
That was the feedback we're getting from some of our clients. So everyone was, a little concerned about that for a while, but that's since sort of rectified and it's a lot more stable around being able to place your doctors into roles. But certainly in the last few years, obviously we've set up in the last few years, there's more agencies, it's more competitive.
Yeah.
So that's certainly a trend that we're seeing. So it's just about being on top of what's available, what's out there, so you can give your doctors, you know, the best opportunity to secure work. And some of the other trends we're seeing as well, there's a lot more telehealth work. So even in EDs, it's not a new thing, but it's becoming more prevalent, where, you know, some of these, particularly Western Australia, out in country Western Australia, there's offices in Perth where there's just emergency medicine specialists just on a video going out to all these, you know, 20, 30 different hospitals around WA, and they've got the same thing in Victoria and rural New South Wales as well, which is pretty cool. And I think Reece gets a bit of psychiatry
a lot of
work as well.
Yeah, my psychiatry consultant work, a lot of it's done by telehealth, and not all doctors like to do it. They still like that face-to-face interaction.
I don't think it will replace it, will it? It's just more of a support.
Oh, I think it's amazing. I actually used it when I went over to the UK this year. Like, you literally book an appointment, you're on a call in 15 minutes.
It's great.
Give you a subscription for antibiotics or something, you're done.
Was that in the UK?
In the UK, yeah. It seems like very, very common over there.
Yeah.
Like the online meeting. So yeah, no, it's a good model. So you're actually placing doctors and psychiatrists into that.
Into telehealth roles.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. So you see that as a trend. You reckon that's going to grow?
I think it'll only increase. It'll only increase. It won't replace doctors on the floor, but it will support the doctors that are there.
Yeah, okay. And then over the next few years, like, where do you see the market? I know you haven't got a crystal ball, but it's interesting to hear your thoughts.
I think some of the tightening up, you know, with budgets and what's happening, will put a squeeze on a few agencies. Yeah. So there'll be a focus on quality over quantity, which I think might be good for the entire industry. That sort of, the agencies doing things the right way, and that can move with the trends, you know, will survive and thrive. But I think, I think we'll find that there'll be some agencies that might tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, right.
I think as well, like, been in medical recruitment for nearly 10 years. So over that 10 years, has been pretty steady. There's obviously the cyclical dips of when the new clinical year starts in February and March. There's less locum opportunities because people have just started their new jobs.
Right, okay.
And typically it'll get busier. But as I said, there was a dip earlier this year. For a while, it corrected itself. So at the end of the day, people always need access to doctors. So there's always going to be a need in that sense. You know, forecasting the next few years, I think that there might be more models like New South Wales where it's a standardised approach, which I don't really want it to be, where it's all jobs are just posted on a platform, there's no human interaction. Yeah. Potentially it could, and I think the rates and margins will probably continue to get squeezed, and we'll just have to do our best.
So guys, obviously a lot of people we speak to, they actually go out on their own, but you two have gone out together. Like, talk me through that.
Yeah, look,
a big subject.
No, I guess when you think it through, a lot of people probably just go into business, maybe someone that they like. I think it was really important for us. What we did is went through our strengths and weaknesses before we set up, and a lot of our strengths and weaknesses are actually quite similar. We've done some training on that around how we kind of disagree with each other. We're both animated, both have really high pitched laughs.
I tried to distance myself from the mic.
And just what when you start getting into business and your problems become bigger, your decisions become bigger, and it's about, I guess, solving those problems together, how you resolve things and communicating well, which Matt and I have done pretty well. Nobody's sort of, thrown the toys at the cot at each other yet. I'm sure I've had a couple of close moments, but.
No, I think, it's definitely, Reece and I do work really well together. But as you said, it gets stressful, and you can see how people fall out because you don't always agree on certain things. He might have an idea that I don't like, or vice versa. We don't take things personally. We understand that, we're only trying to improve the business, but we have worked really well together, and I think it'd be really difficult to go out on your own in this industry, because there's just so many things that you need to sort of go over and talk about, and just get that feedback that I'm on the right track. And I think it would be a pretty lonely game if it was a solo founder going out on their own, because you want to celebrate the wins, and it's all about the journey. For Reece and I, we're not in a rush to get anywhere. We're just having fun really every day, and
And I enjoy working with Matt. Like, I don't want to let Matt down. You know, I know he's got a wife and a kid. You know, like, part of it's like I'm working for them as well.
Yeah.
It's like it's something bigger. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel a bit, I guess, less selfish, really. Not just trying to, you know.
Speaking of wife and kids, I probably see Reece more than I do my wife actually at the moment. I didn't know initially that we'd spend so much time together every day and talking to each other every day. So it's been a lot, but it's been great.
Yeah, wouldn't have it any other way.
No, I love it. Obviously, it's quite common that people say don't go into business with your mates, but you two have done it.
Yeah, get a business partner, lose a friend.
Yeah.
That's what they say. But
Yeah.
no, we are still friends, and people like to work with or employ people that they like, but you know, if they're incompetent, you soon dislike them. And that hasn't been the case for us. So onwards and upwards from here.
Absolutely. So there's probably going to be people listening to this that thinking about setting up. What would be your one piece of advice to recruiters looking to go out on their own?
I think if you're looking to go out on your own, my one piece of advice would be take your time. Don't rush. If you've got a non-compete, sit out your non-compete.
Yeah.
That just gives you the opportunity. Like we said before, you don't want to build a business with foundations on quicksand because it's going to crumble, it's going to fall. It might work for the first few months, but ultimately it's not going to be successful. So my advice would be slow down, get a to-do list, start ticking things off, and that would be what I'd say.
Yeah, great. You, Reece?
Don't try and be a jack of all trades. So get specialists in for specialist parts of the business. You know, I don't come from a finance background, I come from an agriculture background. So you got Daz and A positive in, you know, got a solicitor in, you know, to talk, making sure that our terms of business, all our legal documents.
Work health and safety.
Work health safety. Shout out to Amy Towers, you know.
She's great.
And it makes you feel bulletproof. And once you have those specialists taking care of that part of the business, then you can push forward with the things that you're good at, which is recruiting, and which is what we love doing. And yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's an awesome piece of advice. That's what we always say. Not part of the sell, but is partner with people that partner with specialists that you don't actually know, like that part of the business. So you focus on what you're good at, recruiting, and you bring in the specialists. But thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming on. Awesome to chat, and I'll see you soon.
No
Thanks
problems,
for having us, Daz.
See you on the boat.
It's been great.
I'll see you on the boat. See you on the boat. And yes, you are invited.
Thank you.